Hey guys, I'm Dom Kane, and I have recently released this track called Voices in My Head on Mousetrap, and I thought I would go through the mixdown process with you for Sonic Academy. So what I have here is the original Bitwig project. I've literally just before recording this just zeroed off all the channel volumes. There's a couple that are slightly out, but I'm sure it doesn't matter too much. In fact, I'll just double click on a few of these to zero them off. What I tend to do is I tend to kind of mix as I go, I suppose. So just so that I can sort of do it all from scratch and talk you through what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. I've zeroed them all off. There's going to be a bunch of stuff that needs doing to this track. In fact, if I remember rightly, this track was a bit of a nightmare to mix. Normally with my own tracks, I sort of know where I stand with what sounds I use and whatever, and it's usually pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, as you'll see with this track later on, there's a couple of really annoying parts to it that bugged me for weeks on end. So that's why I'm choosing this track to go through with you guys, because I kind of feel like there's probably more to learn on this. Well, for myself included, as well as you guys. So just a very quick sort of run through of what I've got going on. I'm not going to do production tutorial or whatever. This is strictly the mixdown series for now. I'll skip through some of the parts though. So starting at the start, which is probably a good place to start. It's a relatively simple intro like this. It progresses. Fairly groovy beat, then the bass line comes in. Then I've got a Moog on the go, which is just doing some little sort of detailed sounds. All of that sort of stuff. Got a few elements to it. I recorded my own voice over here, which is why are all these voices in my head tonight. So it's supposed to be a deep, ploddy techno groover, I suppose. I've got some more hi-hats kicking in over here. Oh, and some acid over here. So it's there's all sorts of stuff. There's some ARPs over here that kind of go a bit wonky. Again, I've sort of gone a bit bananas on the automation. So yeah, so I think there's quite a lot going on here. I've got random little pluck synths that sort of come and go. I mean, you can see there's only two instances of that little one line. So there's just various bits going on. The main bulk of the track is sort of focused on a lot of, as you can see, varying automation and stuff. You can hear I've got an arpeggiator. I've called it ARP drone because it just drones on, and it kind of sweeps here and there, and then there's another one below that. So already you can hear there's a lot in the whole sort of frequency range, I suppose. Did I show you the bass line? Pretty standard stuff. Got a couple of weird little loopy bits going on. So there's a lot of subtle detail throughout the whole thing, really. and there's lots of filters coming in and going off and doing everything everywhere. So onto the mixdown. That's just a very quick introduction to the track. There's not too much to say about it other than there's going to be a lot of attention to detail in everything, I suppose. Like I say, I've zeroed off all the gains, so I'll be starting all of those from scratch. Yeah, so onwards. The first thing to mention that I'm going to do here is I am going to bounce everything off. And if I select the loop region, just clear off the name, and I'm just going to select, well, everything that's in there, and I'm going to bounce them off as individual stems to my desktop, and I'll explain why I do this. Well, actually, I'll explain it while it's rendering that off now. So what I do is I like to produce my track, write it, get it all sounding as best as I possibly can, but looking at it from a sort of sound design production aspect, I suppose. And it's only when I'm totally happy with that that I'm then able to go and work on the mixdown. So I like to treat the mixdown as an entirely separate job. And I do that personally by using a different workstation. But if you are not au fait with any different workstations, then I still recommend you bounce your track out as stems. It's a lot easier to work with audio, especially when you're chucking in big compressors and bits and pieces anyway. It's just a lot more CPU friendly. So what I recommend to you guys to do is, if you like working in Ableton or Logic or whatever it is you use, bounce it out as stems and then import those stems into a new project, labeling that as your mixdown. And it just makes life a lot easier because you sort of take off your producer hat and put on your mix engineer hat and then work from there. So I will see you on the other side in the next workstation.
Thanks everybody for watching, commenting and indeed liking. We really do appreciate all the support we get here on our Sonic Academy YouTube channel. So if you found this video super useful, please, we'd love you to hit the subscribe button. We update the YouTube channel every week with new content. And if you want to watch some more relevant content, just click on the videos beside me.